All right, people. Throughout the day of my podcast, I've been talking about a lot of different things. So, I'm going to talk about something that is in the world of WWE. And I am a very opinionated person and I'm passionate about the product. And I say this all the time. The stuff I say is going to be blunt and it's going to be real. And at the end of the day, everybody has an opinion. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. All right? So, hopefully nobody be sensitive on what I'm about to say. And sometimes people can be wrong. I'm going to tell you what the dictionary says opinion is. Opinion is a view or judgment formed a view or judgment formed about knowledge, not necessarily based on fact or knowledge. The beliefs are a large number, majority of people about a particular thing. An estimation of the quality or worth of someone or something. Opinion is judgment, viewpoint, or statement that is not conclusive rather than facts, which are true statements. Other words of opinion can be conviction, persuasion, sentiment, and view. So, I have a hypothesis on something. And I have an opinion. And my hypothesis is Booker T is an Uncle Tom. People are like, what do you mean by that? How is it a hypothesis? What do you mean by that? He is an Uncle Tom. I'm going to tell you why. I remember watching in WWE back in the day. The WWF back in the day. And I remember one episode of it was WWF was building up Booker T to be in the main event of WrestleMania. Really good storyline with Triple H. But I noticed when I was younger and even me being older, Triple H was racist. I can see that Triple H didn't like black people because a lot of black talent did not get pushed. During that time, we was having wrestlers like Booker T. Then years later, we had Shelton Benjamin, Mark Henry. Every time you look up, black talent has been buried. Similar to Brock Lesnar, I lose to a black wrestler. Currently, yeah. Now we're at a time where kind of black wrestlers are kind of winning, but not really. Because the WWE depicts black people as monkeys, buffoons, gangsters, and everything. I can't name one African-American wrestler, full-fledged, full-blood, not mixed, African-American that's been a serious act. And if they was a serious act, WWE diminished it. And, hold up. I'm going to pull up the promo where Triple H talked down on Booker T. Hold on. All right. Don't got time for that, YouTube. Hold on. Okay. All of a sudden, these ads want to play in the middle of my video. Hold on for a second. You see, people don't want me to speak my message, but I'm going to speak my message no matter what. I'm not going to do all the editing crap. I'm going to be very authentic.
That's reserved for people like me.
See?
See, look, that's where the confusion is. Your confusion is, you're not here to be a competitor. You're here to be an entertainer. That's what you do. You entertain people. Hell, you entertain me all the time. Go ahead. It might be true. But it don't change the fact. I'm going to WrestleMania.
Now listen.
And then I'm going to have a little something else to brag about. Because you know what? Somebody like me is going to ragtag your ass and beat you for the world.
All right. I'm going to say this. And I hope nobody take offense to this. And I know I say I work the job. I feel like me working jobs all my life gave me experience. And I never knew what the phrase Uncle Tom meant until I was working. And an Uncle Tom literally can be somebody similar to Uncle Ruckus from Boondocks, where a person that's African American can like tries to be a different culture, quote unquote, be white. And a lot of people be like, that's just a stereotype or anything. You can't just say that. So I'm gonna tell you what it means in the dictionary, the legal term. A black man considered to be excessively obedient or servile to white people. Also, in the Jim Crow Museum, Ferris.edu, it says, in an article it states, in many African American communities, Uncle Tom is a slur used to disparage a black person who is humiliating, subservient, or differential to white people. Derived from Stowe's character, the modern use is perversion of her original portrayal. The contemporary use of the slur has two variations. And pretty much every article I say states that. And one article says that Herschel Walker, Justice Clarence Thompson, and Kanye West are known as Uncle Toms. First of all, Kanye West is that broken speaker that's been around for a minute that you think that's loose or make think that's not working. But that broken speaker is very, very, very vintage, very knowledgeable, and it knows, like, basically Kanye West, most of the times he know what he's talking about. He may not deliver it really well, but he know what he's talking about most of the times. He goes off the ripper a little bit, but he know what he's talking about a lot. And sometimes you got to get that message to people. You got to be a little crazy and a little cuckoo to get a message to a person, because that's the only way they're going to understand. That's the only way they're going to understand. So with Booker T, every time I look up, and I used to have a lot of respect for Booker T, and I still do a little bit. But with Booker T, he supports WWE no matter what. With the Vince McMahon allegations of sexual perversion and racism and all of that, Booker T agreed with other people saying that's just BS, that's not true. Or when CM Punk returned, I remember Booker T was opposed to a CM Punk a while back. Now he's happy CM Punk is returned. If a person shits on WWE, Booker T's going to shit on AEW and talk down on AEW and praise WWE. And like I say in my videos, both WWE and AEW both have their flaws. WWE is the most racist product in the history of wrestling, and I still watch it. I hate it, but I watch it. Similar to Disney. Disney and WWE is two properties that's never ever gonna die, no matter what. But they always have something entertaining to watch, and you just can't give up on it because you support it, and you just gotta block out the hate and the negativity. And that's one thing I don't like about Booker T. I remember, like, when I used to see Booker T podcast and see him, I said, man, this is a badass black guy. I used to hear about his backstage fights and everything. I think he had a backstage fight with Batista or somebody. And Booker T actually won because he don't go for bullying. And people like Jonathan Coachman, I always thought a person like Jonathan Coachman was an Uncle Tom. But Jonathan Coachman left the product. And if you watch the Jonathan Coachman interview on Chris Van Vliet's podcast, you can kind of hear that he don't want to go back to WWE because he probably heard that people thought he was an Uncle Tom. I thought he was. He was the definition of it because I thought of him as the house slave from Vince McMahon. But after a while, Coachman left. Then I saw a podcast years ago where Theodore Long was talking about Ric Flair called him a nigga. I could believe that. I could literally believe that. And I worked at a job with an Uncle Tom, that's another point I did too, where this guy, black guy, literally treated every single black employee like absolute garbage, even if they were doing good, and praised the white employees. I remember one of the white employees called a manager a bitch. Then he said some racist stuff. Guess what? Weeks later, days later, that boy got fired and got hired. Actually, the boy got fired. But then I remember a time where that same manager, I forgot what she did, but overall she got fired. This is her first offense. She got fired. Black manager. Guess what happened? The Uncle Tom black manager called that white boy back, who called this lady a nigger and a bitch at the same time, and hired him back, pleasing his white masters. And again, I'm gonna tell y'all this. I'm an African-American gay man. I know about discrimination. I know about a lot of stuff. I love every single person no matter what. But if you black, white, I don't care what color you is. If you racist or homophobic or discriminatory or bully, I don't want to talk to you. I don't care if you like, man, but bro, you the same. No, I don't want to be near nobody that's racist. I don't want to be near nobody that's discriminatory or anything. And people are like, well, you're doing a double standard because you're hating on Booker T. No. One thing I can't stand is an Uncle Tom person. You are trying to be somebody you're not trying to be. You're trying to be somebody you're not trying to be. God made you to be an African-American king. And you are trying your best to please the white man, and the white man keep doing you wrong. And not all white people are bad. But in the case of Vince McMahon and the WWE, it's like that evil corporation you see in movies, and a superhero trying to take them down. Yet, most of your talent, you make your black talent, like Triple H say, you make them entertaining, you make them foolish. New Day. I don't like the New Day anymore because all they do is twerk and dance around like monkeys. Back in the day, Crime Time had a gimmick where they were robbing people. They had Shelton Benjamin with gold hair back in the day, and when black people, we saw dyeing our hair real well when that was a trend, like Cisco. They had that. They have another crew of people, I forgot their name, but they are they like some gangsters too with Reggie. I forgot their name. People like Bianca Belair, I like it. I like her gimmick a little bit, but I heard a story about her gimmick. They wanted to give her a gimmick too where it's gonna be racist. So I'm kind of liking people like Bianca Belair. But look at Bobby Lashley, Montez Ford, and Angelo Dawkins. They're losing every time. Every time I look up, they always getting buried. They're not the tag team champions. But y'all give it to the Judgment Day, who are people that just consistently cheat to win. But fans love it. But if a black team do it, y'all boo them to death. And y'all hate them. I hate that. Carmelo Hayes is doing something good with Trick Williams. That back and forth banter with them, I'm kind of liking that. Wesley, I like that. I thought Shawn was racist. I thought Shawn Michaels and Triple H was racist back in the day, and I still do think they were racist back in the day, but I feel like with Shawn and Triple H, I feel like they grew out of that. I honestly feel like they grew out of that phase because once you get older, I think you grow out of a phase. Because most of our grandparents taught us how to be racist. Let's just be realistic. Or most of our grandparents have said racist stuff. And sometimes some of us do have resentment towards a certain race of people. And we can't get mad at that because it's a generational curse. But one thing about generational curses, you have to break them. And one curse out of any side of the spectrum, black or white, you don't want to be another skin tone. People like, well, it's people that act black with, yo, what's up, my boy? What's going down, my nigga? Like talking like that, say, oh, you talk like you black, you heard me? Like, no, it's not talking black. It's talking like a person from the ghetto, the hood. It's people from the hood that could be Asian, black, white, whatever. But at the end of the day, Booker T's story was inspiration. He came from prison. He had his brother. He didn't have much going on. Poor, staying in and out of jail. Went to Jack Yates High School, which is a very bad high school, by the way. But it's getting better. And yeah, and this school is known for a lot of criminals. I've lived on the south side. I have rode the bus with a lot of Jack Yates kids. I've seen some of the kids on the bus that end up being on the news as they get older for murder. Then get the death penalty and die. It's just the location you in. And I've seen some people that became successful. I've heard about some people that's alumni that's in the NFL right now. So I came down to school. far as Booker T is concerned, he needs to stop being an Uncle Tom, because every time WWE says something, he constantly agrees. He constantly agrees. He constantly agrees. And you agreeing against people that's slandering African Americans, Booker. I don't like that. Like, it's annoying. It's like that Samuel L. Jackson character in the Django, or it's like that character Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks. Although that may be comical, I like the portrayal of the Uncle Ruckus character, because it's some people like that's Uncle Toms. Compared to Quentin Tarantino. Now, I love Tarantino. He's a really good director. But why are you always downing black people and making racist stuff about that? Although Django was that guy to stop it. But again, you have white people getting away with that, and then having a black actor doing it and being a servant to that guy, that director, and then years later that director don't even cast you in another movie no more, or you don't be cast in that movie. Or it be times where people say, man, I'm ashamed of that role. But everybody got to make money. Everybody got to do that role, or they got to do something in their life, or something they're not proud of, or working that job that they hated, and then after a while they look back on it. But that's another day and another topic, talking about racism in movies. That's a whole different topic. But like I said with Booker T, it just annoys me to death. Because I honestly wanted to train and go to this wrestling school to be a wrestler or a commentator and train and save my money for it. That was one of my goals. But now I just don't want to do it, because I don't like nobody that wants to be a servant to people, or agreeing with people, or down in my community consistently, down in the community and supporting people that do stuff. You are supporting Vince McMahon, who's a sexual predator, who's racist, Booker. You support somebody like CM Punk, who has problems in a locker room that causes problems everywhere he goes, who's a disgrace to the wrestling community, who's a bully, a whiny crybaby bully, who got his ass whooped twice in the UFC. Then go to AEW, start mess with the VPs, EVPs, although they're not the most perfect people in the world, but you start mess. So if you going somewhere, if you go every single place you're a problem, I don't believe it's a such thing as change. I don't think CM Punk's gonna last in the WWE long. But I'm not on Philip Jack Brooks. I'm on Booker Huffman. And I hate the fact that this guy was one of my role models, watching wrestling, saying, yo, when I get older, I want to be a general manager or a commentator and a pro wrestler like him. I want to train and be the best me I can be, no matter what. And then I look and see that you supporting Vince McMahon, supporting racism, supporting everything, and say, well, I didn't experience racism when I was at the WWE. These people just doing this for the Me Too movement. Like, no, Brody, this is no Harvey Weinstein type shit where they get a pat on the back or something. No, you are African American men, and you've been in a racist promo. You have been in gimmicks where you was a clown, and you supporting this company, and you're saying, oh, these people that's condoning racism or sexual assault are stupid, or they just making this up. No, bro, they're not making it up. Nobody asked for your opinion, because your opinion is invalid. You're an Uncle Tom dude. You don't like your culture. And if you do like your culture, you would stand up for us. Every time I look up, you are always agreeing for anything that WWE do. You are a WWE showman. You are a WWE. You are just a disgrace to the African American community, Booker T, because you hate us. And I'm not slandering your name or anything. It just makes me so sad that a legend like you won't stand up for the African American community in the WWE world. It's sad. And I hope one day you listen to this podcast and hear me out. Because I'm not the most perfect person. I'm not a fighter. I'm not about violence. I'm not about any of that. But I'm real. I spectate what I see. Now, if I'm wrong, Booker T, or people that's Booker T fans, let me know. But it's a lot of threads I've read, a lot of comments I read saying Booker T done changed up on people. And I agree. And I'm mad at you, Booker, because you shouldn't agree to their promo. You should have made a way of saying, yo, no, I want to win this title. I want to win this title. I want to be the first African-American champion. If not, I'm going to walk off and I'm going to go to a different company. Because this is not right. Y'all always doing black people wrong. I see so many promos from the WWF days where the N-word, people literally saying nigger or nigga. And they got away with it. And your most famous clip is, I'm coming for you, Hulk Hogan, nigga. And you cool with Hulk Hogan. You're best friends with Hulk Hogan, pretty much. Yet, he talked about how he hates the community. You support people like Hulk Hogan. You support people like Vince McMahon, who blatantly hates black people. You support people like Paul Levesque, who was racist back in the day. Maybe he still is, maybe he isn't, but you support Paul Levesque. I'm not being an internet mark, because one thing about me, if I feel like I'm wrong, I would like to have a civilized conversation and talk to a person about that. This isn't slander. This is just an African-American young man that's hurt to see a leader like you be a follower to an evil corporation that don't give a shit about us at all. If a black talent dies, guess what they do? They show a picture of the black talent. Chad Gaspard, they did it. Junkyard Dog, they did it. But if it's somebody influential like Ric Flair or Eddie Guerrero, or even or Chris Benoit, what are people? They have a tribute ceremony for them on a whole entire show. And it sucks, man. It sucks that you are agreeing with the company that does us wrong. Like the New Day. You need to talk to them three. Tell them to be a more serious gimmick. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. I know I am. But I'm just hurt. I wish the New Day was a serious act. I wish Big E, when he come back out of recovery, he could do the 5 count. I was so sad and hurt when Kofi Kingston got buried by Brock Lesnar. And ever since he got buried by Brock Lesnar, Kofi has been on the highest losing streak of an African-American wrestler ever. Stat check that. Stat check it. Stat check it. He has been on the losing streak. Then you talk crap about AEW. And I agree. AEW kind of is doing the same thing. Treating their black talent like crap. You made AEW made Scorpio Sky the black champion once. And that's it. You ain't seen him since. You don't have no black guy. Like Swerve Scott, maybe he's going to be a champion. But why come I look at every promo, they say I was the first African-American. I may be the first African-American AEW champion. You have sources to talk to all these black talents and tell them that they need to make a change. I wanted it to be a time where we watch WWE now, where it don't have to be a racist talent, where that black talent could be more serious like a Brock Lesnar talent, or a tag team could be more serious like the Legion of Doom, or a wrestler can be more serious like that. A black man could carry the company like Roman Reigns. None of our African American champions have carried the company like that. Can't say Samoans because The Rock is mixed. I'm talking about a full-fledged African-American man. Because every African-American champion has been buried by Brock Lesnar. Big E, Kofi Kingston, blah, 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 blah. Or in your case, when you was a champion, you was buried by Batista and other people. And they made you the bad guy because you was a king. As African-American people, if we're kings, that means we are royalty. You have to respect us. But they made a fool out of you. Made a fool out of you and you got buried, and then King Booker Mimic diminished and you went to TNA. Did good with the main event Mafia. Killed it. Then they gave you a title, made you a Legends champion and everything. Then after a while, the momentum got down. Then you got to WWE. Then when you returned to the WWE, I remember you was feuding with Cody Rhodes and you couldn't beat Cody. Now look at Cody now. And now they got you. Then they had you as a general manager of SmackDown. Then they had you as a commentator on SmackDown. You do have the best commentary on SmackDown. And you are one of the greatest general managers of all time on SmackDown history. In SmackDown history. But they have you on the pre-show. The pre-show, dude. You are an excellent talent. You are one of the best African-American wrestlers in the world. And again, we in Houston, Texas, Booker T. We are one of the places that put wrestling on the map in a pro wrestling coliseum back in the day. So, again, Booker T, this is why I feel like you're Uncle Tom, because you don't support your black talent. You shit on us. You shit on black people a lot in the WWE community. I guarantee you now, if God let me be a wrestler, you will talk down on me and make me feel bad. Make my mental health go even higher because you talk down on us so much. Like talent so much. You'll say, oh man, this kid sucks. This kid's the worst wrestler in the world. This kid's the worst commentator. This kid is the worst general manager in the world. He sucks. He's the worst piece of crap on earth. I feel like he need to quit WWE. Don't do that. Build people up. I love you in NXT. I love you in ROW. I love everything you do, but I just wish you could stop being Uncle Tom Book.